Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Maybe you heard about this talk about recession. Well, if you think that recession is bad, well, we have some experts, some analysts who think that it's going to be even worse than a recession. So what could be worse than a recession? So let's see what these experts are telling us from JP Morgan. So they must know what they're talking about, right? All right, let's see. This article comes from the Motley Fool, or whatever that is, and it's from September 15th, 2022. This is the title. JP Morgan CEO, CEO, important guy, warns US is headed towards something worse than a recession. What could that be? Annihilation? Implosion? Explosion? All right, key points. Economists have been warning of an impending recession for months. Yes. One major financial player thinks things may end up being worse than a lot of people are anticipating. And we'll know about it right now. Okay, so we're going to be prepared. So for months now, economic experts have been sounding warnings about an upcoming recession. The Federal Reserve has been quite aggressive with interest rates hikes this year in an effort to slow the pace of inflation. The Fed's goal is to make borrowing expensive enough that consumer spending starts to decline, thereby helping to close the gap between supply and demand that caused the cost of the goods to soar. So he's trying to make borrowing expensive enough that consumer spending starts to decline. So we live on borrowing money, and that's how we spend things, because we don't have the money. We spend money that we don't have, or they're talking about banks. But the Fed is taking a risk. If it raises interest rates too drastically, it could lead to a major pullback in consumer spending. We are the consumers. And that could in turn fuel a recession, something many people fear. Now, the silver lining in all of this, let's see what it is, thus far has been a solid labor market. I doubt that. And you know why I doubt that? Because I walk in stores. I know businesses. They have a shortage of people. So where is the labor market? Maybe you can tell me where that is. And I'm talking about not only private and governmental institutions as well. They do not have people who want to come to work. You go to a store and try to buy something, and you see how many cashiers are available over there. From, let's say, 20 locations that you can pay, you have maybe 2 or 3, and the rest are do-it-yourself, paying for goods. And not only that, businesses. I have friends who own businesses and say, we have a problem hiring people. People don't want to work. Now, I don't know why they don't want to work and what kind of perks they still have going. From where? From borrowing. From where? International banking systems and printing money. What about the government? Well, I can tell you that in the government is a shortage. All right, but recently JP Morgan, in fact, many financial experts have conceded that while they think a recession may be imminent, it won't necessarily be drastic or lengthy. But recently, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon had some scary things to say about the economy, and it's warning worth nothing. And it's a warning worth nothing. Okay, what could be worse than a recession? Although Dimon acknowledges that the US economy is strong right now, he's still convinced conditions are apt to deteriorate. He also said that there's a 20% to 30% chance of facing something worse. Wow. Now, in economic terms, when we think about what's worse than a recession, we tend to imagine a full-blown depression, a really prolonged period of economic decline. But to be clear, Diamond isn't saying he's convinced we're heading in that direction. Rather, he thinks it's a possibility people should gear up for. How to prepare for a recession? Well, the reality is that even seasoned economists can't necessarily predict with certainty. Yeah, they're like astrologists. Once in a while they're right. Whether a recession or something worse will hit, when it will hit, and how bad it will be. All right, I know that. So, one of the best ways to gear up for a recession is to boost your emergency fund. In the wake of the pandemic, many experts are advising people to save money than the previously recommended 3 to 6 months of living costs. Well, can you save money? Okay, if you can save money with inflation, what happens? You lose each and every second. Now the inflation is 10%, let's say. You got $100,000. At the end of the year, the power of purchases would be what? $90,000 at the most. So they think about put money in a saving account. To do what? To get 1% interest rate and lose 10% inflation from the great economy? No, you should buy houses and properties. That's what you should buy. And it says here, at the same time, it pays to do what you can to whittle down cost debt. With more interest rate hikes on the horizon, you don't want to be carrying a credit card balance because it could end up costing you more later this year or early next. I don't think so, because when you have inflation, the amount is going to be there. Let's say you don't pay now, because this is going to be remaining at the same with the interest. But remember, if it's a fixed interest rate, let's say 3%, 5%, I'm just saying, not 20. If it's 20, that's going to be more than the inflation, and it's going to be more plus the inflation. And remember, your income is not going to grow, exponentially or anything. It's going to be behind. Yeah, you do that if you can now, but in the long term, your income by the numbers is going to increase. So the power of purchases is going to decrease because of the interest. But your number, so let's say you make now, let's say $50,000, and you have, let's say $20,000 in credit card debt. I'm just saying, in about 5 years, that $20,000 that you have there with your, if you keep just pay the interest, so it doesn't grow, it just stays to $20,000. Your income in 10 years, by the numbers from 50, is going to get to 80. So you can pay with the numbers of 80 that you have now, the 20 that you have there, if you're still able to survive, obviously. That happened in Romania after the so-called revolution. They owed certain things, and they say, okay, we're gonna sell you the apartments now at this amount, and they set the amount, and then in 1 year they were able to pay that apartment with nothing. It was like 3 days worth of working. I'm just exaggerating. That's how much it was. Unless they say, no, we reserve the right to keep increasing it according to the inflation, or if they put it on some other values like gold, or used to be dollar at that time. So finally, do your best to boost your job skills. That won't guarantee you will be laid off if your company is forced to downsize, but it might lower your chances. Yeah. So this is what you're going to do. Get better at your job, supposedly. Pay your debt that you have with the highest, starting with the highest interest if you can. If not, pay the interest to keep it there, the amount, so stays at $20,000. $20,000 doesn't grow over, because in time, 10 years, 5 years, your income is gonna, by numbers, is gonna increase if you're still employed. But if you're not employed in 10 years, that means nobody is employed in 10 years. So this economy is gonna be zero. So, and the other one with the saving account, I don't think so. I do not think so. Do this, and that's ask whomever you want, any economist, an expert. Buy properties. Properties and gold right now is low because of the sanctions they imposed on Russia. But it's not going to be forever like this. So being now low, you can buy it now. Wait if you can wait I don't know, 10 years, and I guarantee you in 3-4 years after the Russia thing scuffles and ends and things kind of set or settle, then the gold is going to shoot up. It can stay like this. You'll see. The same with copper and silver. Silver is low. But anyway, and buy stuff that you need. Buy stuff that you need now that you have power of purchases. Because later your power of purchasing stuff is going to decrease because of the inflation and so on. So buy things that you need right now. You need shoes, buy 3 pairs of shoes if you can. If you need a, I don't know, mower, buy that. Car, I don't know. Cars just jumped. It's kind of like late, but it's going to be even worse. So things that you need, and properties, land and houses. Thank you very much. To rent them, you're going to pay taxes. Not a big deal, right? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.